Lately I've been thinking about this life and how it brought me here. Staring at this man in the mirror, I see him often here. Wipe my tears, only if you knew what I was going through. Only if you walked it in my shoes.
Welcome to the Message Hope Podcast, where the hope stands for hearing other people's experience. My name is Adam.
My name is Mike, and today we don't have a guest on.
Nope.
But this episode marks 26 Fridays in a row that we've dropped a podcast, and that's a half a year.
Yep.
Every single week, we haven't missed one. And so we wanted to just kind of get together, me and you, and kind of tell people what it went into making this happen. You know, there was a lot of phone calls and shared notes and running across good ideas and throwing away the bad ideas, just like a lot of planning went into it, and a lot of people helped us out. So we want to kind of let people in on who helped us, all the planning that went into it, and give thanks to those people. You know?
Yeah, and I think I think we should start off with the planning, right?
Yeah.
I also think because there's the good ideas, there's the bad ideas, and then there's the ideas that we're indifferent about. You know what I'm saying? So there's things where both of us had to come to agreements and make a happy medium, or
right.
you know what I'm saying, not a settlement in a sense.
Oh, we compromise.
We compromise. There you go.
Yeah.
There, because there's been a few times no, Mike, let's do this. Now you're like, well, I don't think it's a good idea, and I'm like, all right, fuck you, you're right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that that's important, and if anybody's part of a 12-step fellowship, right, or any kind of place that practices spiritual principles, I think spiritual guidance and spiritual what is it called, conscience, a spiritual conscience is super important. So I think that has been the basis of what we've been doing since we started, right?
Yeah. We had to learn to listen and listen to the other person's point and consider it, and then decide together on what we're going to do. So
100%.
we started this and we started talking about it in, was it November?
Yeah.
And that leads us into the first person that helped us is Lacey, my stepmom.
Yeah.
Lacey Kendall is on the radio here in San Bernardino on a rock and roll station.
What's the rock and roll station called?
KCAL.
KCAL.
Yeah. And she's also teaches this stuff like media production and recording at Cal State University. So me and Adam were talking about it, and I was like, let me ask Lacey, let me see what her input is on it. She gave us a few pointers. Some of them we followed, some we didn't.
Right.
She said podcast should be 20 to 30 minutes at the most, and we're like, we can't make that work, unless we split episodes,
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that's cool, right, is that we've been able to, we're doing things the way we want to do them.
Yeah.
Right, but with taking help from other people from outside of just us two, and taking advice and listening in on what people have to say. And Lacey, I mean, we couldn't have started any of this without Lacey.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
she's totally a radio personality. She knows how to speak and say things in the right way to say them in an engaging way, and that's her profession. So when we wanted to do this, we didn't have anything.
Nothing.
We didn't have any recording equipment, no microphones, no mic cables, we didn't have a computer, we didn't have editing software, and she came in clutch with that, She's like, well, look, I work for the university, I can check this stuff out of the media department and let you guys borrow it if you guys are very careful with it, and that's how we recorded the first one.
And then even prior to that, we sat down with her, she taught us how to use the microphones, how to speak into the microphones, right? How to be relaxed behind the microphone, right? And then I remember we did maybe a 5-minute recording, me and you.
Yeah,
right?
That was uncomfortable. That was bad. Yeah,
I remember we listened to it. We're I still listen to my voice sometimes, and I'm like, shut up, fool. You know what I'm saying? It's super.
That never goes away.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And then we also made a pact, right? We said, you know what? No matter how we think we sound, no matter if we think we did a good job on the episode or whatever, we're just gonna just put it out there and just make it work. You know what I'm saying? And we've been able to do that, bro.
Yeah. It's been cool.
Yeah.
So Lacey let us borrow some of the equipment. Hopefully nobody at Cal State hears this, but She let us borrow Cal State's equipment, showed us how to use it. The laptop that I edit the episodes on is still borrowed from her personally.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think she wants it back either. So I think she kind of just gave it to us
Yeah.
to edit our episodes with. And then, you know, we started doing the recordings right here and where I work, you know,
Yeah.
California Curb Appeal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, my mom founded this company like 5 years ago. We do property management, real estate, and we have the space to do it and sit down at a table and set up and have privacy and I want to thank her too, you know,
Absolutely.
because that was a big deal. They were a big part of us starting to collect our own equipment, you know, and
I think they were also like, for me, they were a big part of like just support.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
because they were
for
like
sure.
the first ones to hear what we recorded, and they're like, it's so good, it's so amazing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like kind of
we didn't believe it.
No,
Yeah.
but it's still like, for me, like boosted up a little bit of my confidence. Like, okay, maybe, you know, I mean, you know what they say, right? Like, we only got faces that mothers love. So there was
Right.
that, like, that's just Mike's mom, bro. But,
Yeah.
but like, if it wasn't for their support, and like you said, like allowing us to use the equipment, allowing us, you know, to this day, still using the space to be able to have the sessions where we get to record, I mean, we wouldn't, again, be here, right?
Yeah,
So
for
like
sure.
those two are probably like the most pivotal people. I mean, besides me and you, who had the vision, the idea, and,
Yeah.
and you know,
And believed in it.
and you know, and the willingness, right?
Yeah.
Right, because it's, I think, for me, like, you could believe something, but if you're not willing to do something, right, then it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
really matter.
Nope.
Right. And so like being willing and like me and you, so I just seen a post, right? And this is probably like a month ago now, right? So me and Mike, we've been working on this for since November, right? So we're coming up on a year that we've been like putting everything together, right? But a year ago, I posted like, I really want to start a podcast, right? So it was always something like in the back of my head, and it was, my vision was very similar to this, maybe a little bit different, but it was very similar to this. And then, so like when we started talking about this, we both had been like, this is something we really want to do.
Yeah.
And then we just started like putting stuff together, right?
Yeah. Putting it on paper, dude.
Yeah. And notes.
Yeah. Shared
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
We share the same note today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For scheduling people and scheduling who's going to get posted next. And that's super important. I think that alone kind of drove it. Like, I would go and edit it, and you would see that I edited it,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, let me add to this. Even when it came down to our name,
Uh-huh.
we
Yeah.
shared the notes. We were like,
Yes.
we had a list of like what are we
Names.
going to call it? You
Yeah.
know?
Do we still have, we should have that list.
I don't know. I think we deleted it, dude, because we're running on the same notepad.
Oh, are we?
I think so.
But I want to say,
Is there another one?
No, I might have screenshotted it, bro.
Yeah, we had like 5 different names that
Yeah.
were possibilities, and we decided on the message is hope,
Yeah.
and made it happen, dude.
I believe one was the message. I don't remember, but there
don't
was
remember either.
there was a few, and then we came up with the message is hope, right? And then
Yeah.
like I think we've heard the acronym before, which is like hearing other people's experience, and that's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
what like we wanted to bring to the table. So like
That's exactly what this is.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like the message is hope, where the hope stands for hearing other people's experience, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it just kind of just fit right in, right? And that name's gonna be, you know, using other things that we don't need to talk about right now.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, in the future we will.
Yeah, for sure.
In the future we will. You know.
Yeah, another thing that was kind of a lot of work and we collaborated on was the like on our logo.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
our album artwork that we had to put onto the Spotify and the Apple Podcasts and YouTube as the background. Like, we collaborated on that. We went back and forth with that, and colors and
Colors
fonts.
and fonts,
like,
yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work, dude,
It
that
was.
nobody sees.
I know.
You know? But we were so excited about it, like it didn't seem like work, I think.
And I
know?
think that me and you, we just compliment each other.
Yeah.
Wow, right? Because I'm the guy that's like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And you're the guy that's like, let's write it down.
Let's
right?
make a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like that goes together. Wow.
Yeah.
Right. That
It
goes
does.
together. Wow. Because like, let's just do it. well, let's write it down first. You know what I'm saying? And that's even teaching me in my life, because I'm one of those guys that like I'm everything's just mental for me. Like I know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Like I don't gotta write nothing down, or like I know what I'm doing in my life. I don't gotta write it down. But like learning to like write stuff down, like it's all goal oriented stuff, right? Stuff you learn in treatment, stuff you learn in a lot of places, bro. Right? That I've never really put to work, but has been very helpful in the process of what we're doing now and everything that we've done so far.
They say that the most successful people work on the list and time management. Like step one of any plan they want to work out, they write it down, and then they manage their time very well to give attention to each and every one of their goals evenly, or you know, whatever's most important first.
I need to start doing that because I got some, I got some goals I need to take care of for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you chip away at it, like say you practice ping pong, right? We'll just say that.
I love ping pong right now. I'm addicted to fucking ping pong.
But
bro.
look, if you get to spend 10 minutes, let's just say 3 times a day playing, you're going to be really good pretty quick, you know?
How did you know that I spend?
It was just a lucky guess, bro.
You know what's funny is because between each of my groups, I have about 10 minutes and I go straight to the ping pong group. Boy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so gradually, without you really noticing it, you're going to be like mastering a skill.
Yep.
And if you do that with anything, you'll get a little bit closer every day.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
The more you feed it, the more it grows, you know?
So let's get back to equipment.
Equipment, yeah.
Equipment. So we borrowed everything.
Yeah, we had a Rode Podcaster mixer and a couple Rode mics.
Yeah.
I remember when we first started, I went and bought this cheesy microphone off of like this dude that was clearly still in his addiction. You know, he had a garage full of stuff he was selling, and I bought it and brought it, and we were gonna plug it in there, and it sounded like you were like yelling in a megaphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like in a metal megaphone, you know, like those. And so I still have that on my desk as kind of like a reminder. And when I bought it and when we started, I was like, we should interview that guy, you know?
Yeah.
He's probably still in that garage, still in his addiction, you know, but I'm sure we never will be able to, but.
And then once we get camera, that's going to be part of our decor.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to be part of our decor, bro. It's part of like how
symbolizes the beginning, right?
Yeah. Symbolizes the beginning. Didn't work.
Yeah.
It symbolizes trying.
But we were trying. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we learned from that is don't buy a $20 microphone.
Yeah.
You know
even if it is gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up getting some, was gifted a mixer, and then we were still borrowing mics, right? At that point?
Yes, we're still borrowing mics.
Yeah. And mic stands.
And mic stands, right? And then we just like started chipping away. So you got the
mixer?
The mixer. You got the mixer, right? And then we bought a few Rode mics for ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? We bought the cords for them.
Yeah.
Right? And then
there's a lot. There's these memory cards that we had to buy, the adapters for those, like all these little things that like we bought bit by bit. So but if we were to buy it all at one time, dude, it'd be like a couple grand.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why for me, like I just felt like this was just exactly what we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And with good intentions and good end goal for this podcast and where we want to go.
Yeah, it was all like organic too.
Yeah.
It just came kind of not effortlessly, but it came.
It did though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how, for me, like when I feel like I'm struggling in an area or like I'm trying to force something, like for me, that's not like, that's against my higher powers will. When things like fall into place and everything land the way they're supposed to land. I mean, obviously you don't get nothing if you don't work for it, but you know, if you're working for something and things kind of start to fall into place, for me, that was a big indicator on this is what we're supposed to be doing. You know, this is the message that we're supposed to, you know, carry. And, you know, like some people might kind of even look into like what we do here, right? Yeah. And like, oh, they're trying to be, we're not trying to be famous. We're not trying to, bro.
There's no money in this.
No, if anything, we come out the pocket a lot, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, having a few $100s in my pocket and be like, you know what? We need a mic, so let's buy a microphone. You know what I'm saying? And being able to like sacrifice that stuff, not because, obviously, I mean, the end goal is for millions of people to listen to our podcast and that they, can grasp some hope, and that somebody who is struggling with addiction or in and out of prison or depression or loneliness or anxiety or any of those things find our podcast and say, you know what, like I don't have to like be a victim of circumstances, and like things could change, right? Like that would be amazing, right? But like at the end of the day, bro, like I enjoy coming here. I enjoy, talking to people, even our friends, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a hobby.
It's a
is
hobby.
what I found. Like, I kind of was like struggling with finding a balance between work and kids and meetings. And I'm like, what do I like to do, bro? And it dawned on me. I talked to you about it. I was like, that's a hobby of ours, you know? Spend a couple hours a week. It's something we enjoy. It's healthy. It's productive. And it's good for us,
And it's helpful.
Yeah.
Right, it's helpful, and we'll get into that a little bit later because there's proof in the pudding. Like people talk to us, and we'll kind of share some of those experiences, right? But like, and then we got some microphones gifted to us, right?
Yeah.
Your mom Lacey, you know what I'm saying, gifted you with another microphone.
Yep.
Right, which is cool, right? The mixer was a birthday gift, right?
Yeah. No,
And
Christmas
gift,
Yeah.
and then the
mic
microphone
was a birthday
a birthday gift,
Yeah.
right? And then, the guy who makes us hats, right?
Yeah.
His name's Eric Savage.
Tell the story though. Tell of you running into him. Like you didn't order these initially.
Oh no! So
Right.
okay, so I was a part of this program, right? I'm not gonna say the name, right? But I was a part of this program, and so my job
It was an alumni.
was alumni coordinator.
Yeah.
Right. And so I had already stopped working for that company. I worked for that company for 6 years. It's a beautiful company, but it was time for me to move on. I also think I was going through a lot of stuff. I just lost my mom.
Yeah.
I wanted to move off of the San Bernardino Mountains, closer to my sisters, closer to you, closer to, Juan, closer to my sponsor, closer to, my girlfriend, like all these people I wanted to be closer to. And I felt like being on that mountain was so isolated. So like I had an opportunity to work off the mountain and I took it. But, me and these guys, we have like gotten so close that when they had their little alumni event, right? And these guys have been completed for years now, right? But they always come back every year. So I think this is like the third year that they came back. And people who go to this treatment center come from all over the United States, right?
So
and
they
some
make a
people,
trip,
yeah, some people from out of the United States, right? So what they would do every year for the last 3-4 years, maybe, they would get a cabin up in Big Bear, right? And then they would come down to the place, and I would have like this group, and they would share their experience and what's been working for them, right? And they started up like this little club, or maybe not a club, but this little fellowship called Serenity Fight Club.
Yeah.
Right. And so they started creating like hats and designs and just to like further the message of hope.
Yeah.
Exactly what they're doing, right? They're like having a support, like they're hopping on the alumni Zoom and saying, hey, we got Zoom meetings on this day and that day if you guys want to come on, right? And they're just super passionate about what they do, and they really, really care, right? Because they know what recovery has done for them and their family, right? And so they asked me, hey, Adam, can you come? I know you don't work here. So I was like, yeah, bro, absolutely. I'll show up, right? And so I went to their little event, and he comes up to me and he says, I got a gift for you, right? Yeah. And so he hands me these hats,
yeah,
right? And they have the Message is Hope podcast design on it, bro. And I just thought, man,
these are nice hats.
These are absolutely beautiful, bro. Right? Yeah. And he gave me 3.
Yeah.
He gave me 3. He was like, here's one for you and Mike. And then, and then of course, Juancho, Juan got the third one, right?
Right.
It's funny because every time we think of somebody else, we're like, oh, who else but Juan? What I'm saying? Because, Juan and Mike have been very close, and then, then I came in the picture, and then now we're all pretty close. And there's a lot of us that are pretty close. So he gifted me that, and he told me, say, hey, I design hats, I design shirts, I do all that stuff. Like, if you ever need anything, let me know. So I said, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And so recently I was like, you know what? I'm going to get some hats, bro. You needed a new hat because yours was all sweat through. You know what I'm saying? I need a new hat. And then I wanted to get some hats because like friends had to be hitting me up and be like, hey, like, let me know when you guys get hats and we'll, we'll purchase some from you, this and that. I'm like, all right, cool. So we ordered some hats, right? And not a lot. We ordered 17 hats. You know, I'm not gonna tell you the pricing because he gave me a good deal. I don't want to, you know. But so we got the hats, and he said, "Hey, your hats are on the way." He said, "I got you like there's something in there extra for you."
Yeah.
Right. And so it took, I don't know, maybe it took a few weeks after I ordered the hats to get the hats, and so the hats came in 2 boxes.
Yeah.
Right. And
Hat
so
boxes.
Hat boxes, and they're like long, skinny, right? And so I open up the first box, and I see the 17 hats, right? And I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm like,
What's in the other box?
what's in the other box,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I open it up, bro, right? And there's a microphone in it. What kind of microphone is this, Mike?
It's a Shure, I don't know what kind.
Shure 270, whatever it was. It's something like that, right?
M7B.
N7B, something like that, right?
Yeah,
but it's a Shure microphone. It's not a cheap microphone. We looked it up, right?
Yeah.
And so my first thought was, right, because he also sent us a bunch of coins for their club,
Yeah.
right, for their little alumni, you know, thing that they got going on, right? And so I was like, oh, he must have sent this to the wrong person.
Yeah.
That was my first initial thought, right? Because this microphone is a few hundred,
Yeah.
it's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Who
It's a few more than a few hundred.
yeah, it's a few more than a few hundred.
Yeah.
So my first initial thought was he was supposed to send this to another alumni or something like that. And so like there's a mistake here. And I called him, right? And I was like, bro, like I think you sent the wrong package. And he said, what do you mean? I said, bro, like you sent me a microphone. He's like, oh yeah, no, that's for you. That's for you guys, for the
Yeah, dude.
podcast, right? And I was like, what? He said, bro, like we believe in you. Right? Like I know,
Yeah.
bro. And
That's a big statement, bro.
yeah.
That's a big statement.
And so it was just like, who does that, bro? Right?
Yeah.
Like who cares about like, and so here's some more truth, right? Like fucking, I told him, he, you know, because I work in the field of treatment, right?
Yeah.
I don't work in the field of recovery. I don't get it twisted, bro. Right?
Yeah.
But recovery is everything to me, bro. I know what it's done for me. I know what it's done for my family. I know what it's done for my friends, right? Like I know all that stuff. So even if I'm working in the field of treatment, what isn't necessarily recovery,
Yeah.
right? There's a big difference.
It can get an introduction.
100%,
to
bro.
recovery, but
You know, I tell these guys, I tell my guys all the time, bro. If I could be a good example of what 12-step fellowship looks like, and if you look at me and say, I want what he has, so let me go to some meetings and let me discover this for myself. If I do that and only that, my job is done, bro.
yeah.
Right? My job is done, right? And it was just, I don't know, it was just a beautiful moment. He was like, bro, you helped us out so much. And not only that, but these guys call me about the podcast.
Yeah.
Right? That's one of the cool things. This one dude, he told me like he was having some troubles with his wife. He was doing all that, right? And he said like it was like 2:00 in the morning and he couldn't call nobody, right? And so he said that he went outside and he started listening to our podcast in his car. Right? And it was like a meeting without having to go to a meeting.
Yeah.
Right. And he said like it helped him. Right. And so like Eric was just like, bro, like you've done so much and we believe in this podcast. Like we're excited about it. And like we just want to, you know what I'm saying? Like take care of you guys. Right. And that was just, it's just one of those things, bro. That it's those God things where it's like, again, you know, telling us that we're doing something right.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
And it's not, again, bro, it's not about like ego. It's not about pride. It's not about look at us, look at what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, again, we don't expect to be famous. We don't expect to be, I mean, I expect to be rich, right? But not from this. You know what I'm saying? No.
There's no money in this.
No. This is like, even when we get like other businesses up and we do this or we're doing that or whatever our future holds for us, like at the end of the day, like every Sunday, right? We're going to meet up and record. And every Friday, we're going to fucking meet up and post it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like no matter what, bro. Like that's going to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like of what we do from this point, you know, moving forward.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Until something else comes along and fucking who knows where this journey is going to take us, right? But like just knowing that if people believe in us like that is a really big deal.
Yeah, I just thought of one thing that you said something and it made me think like There's been multiple times.
Mhm.
We've had, I don't know, we've had 26 around their guests now.
Yeah.
And there's been quite a few of them that are like, damn, like after we're done recording and they got to talk and get some shit out, they're like, damn, I needed that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was amazing to me, dude.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we get people we know, you know, sometimes we don't know them. We just met them, asked them to come on, you know. But even people that I thought I knew well, they come on here and I hear some shit that I never would have known about them otherwise, you know.
And I think that's kind of like the new era of things,
Yeah.
right? And I think like that's the one thing that's different from this and anything else that we do in recovery, right? There's a rapper, bro. He would say, "I could tell you the whole story, and you still won't know the half of it."
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
and so like for me, for example, when I get on a podium, bro, I'm not sharing about my childhood trauma anymore, right? I might share like glimpse of it, but I don't get into like full detail of what it was like and the feelings and all that stuff, right? When I get into my addiction, right? Like I talk about my addiction, right? Because it's identification. I want you to know like how sick I was, so that if you're as sick as me, right? Are there
hope.
similarities? There's hope, because now let me get into like the hope part of it, right? The experience part of it, of like how I got out of that and what I do now to stay out of it, right? But you know, that's still not an in-depth story of who I am as a person, right?
Yeah.
Like I was listening to Carlos,
Yeah.
right? And then I got to that part where he talks about like he got into Oscar De La Hoya, right? and I know we know Carlos for years. I never knew that fool was fucking bought Oscar De La Hoya. You know, I mean, not in the ring. You know, go listen to that episode. You know what we're talking about, right? But like, and then like I knew he had some war stories, some service stories, right? But then like to hear his street stories about, you know, he was a torpedo, like the bodyguard, like, and it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like if you know Carlos, like that makes sense of where he ended up, you know what I'm saying? And so like hearing people's in-depth story, you know, it's good. Like I wasn't here for Wendy's, right? But I listened to Wendy's, you know, and her story, I've known Wendy, you know, Wendy, she sang at my mom's funeral, right? She sang at my brother George's funeral, right? And I'm sure that other members have her sing for them, you know, at funerals and weddings, and who knows, maybe she'll sing at my wedding one day, right? But like to hear her story and where she comes from, and to know like she moved to Redlands and all that stuff, right? It was just, it was a cool experience, you know what I'm saying? To hear in-depth stories, or even your story, right? Like we talked on some deep levels, right? But hearing your story, like from beginning to end, what was a big deal for me, bro, right? It's not even like, it's cool that we put this out on 3, you know, platforms, which is YouTube, Apple Music, and Spotify, right? But it's cool for me to sit here and listen to people's stories, bro.
Yeah, we get a lot out of it, dude.
100%.
We don't even get to talk about that. Because like by the time we're like, damn, that was fucking amazing.
We're already at 110, bro.
Yeah.
Hour and 10 minutes.
So we don't get to fully express like how much it means to us either, you know. We were talking about Wendy, just her story of where she came from, and then her story of becoming educated and a professional in her field. Like that's a lot of hope there, you know, because anybody can do it.
Yeah.
You don't feel like that. You don't feel like those things are possible for you, but like they absolutely are.
Yeah.
Get clean and stay clean and watch what happens, you know?
Yeah.
So, what other guests that really stuck out?
I already know one guest that stuck out very much to me.
What's up?
Myself. Not just playing. No. Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Josh.
So Josh's we recorded at a convention.
Yeah, Josh we recorded at a convention. And I think,
something about that just like,
bro,
sets the tone, dude.
Because even when I work steps at conventions, I feel like working a set, that's something my sponsor, Willie, who we'll get on here so I can say his name, right? But that's one thing like Willie taught me, right? That's one thing that I always loved about conventions. He'd be like, hey, Adam, like have your seventh step. Because I remember a 7th step at a convention, bro. You know what I'm saying? We woke up like early on a Saturday morning. We walked down the street from it was the San Fernando Valley convention, right? Where it all began convention. You know what I'm saying? And we walked down the street to a park and working a step 7 and feeling spiritually good and drained and tired because like there's all these emotions and feelings and spirituality, and then like the next morning on a Saturday morning I'm like I just want to sleep, and then going to this park and like having like this spiritual awakening, right?
Yeah.
Having and so like and then working now I do that with other people.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, hey, you got especially a fourth and fifth step, bro, at a convention.
Yeah.
Sheesh. You know? And so Josh was what it was so impactful even in that room.
Yeah.
As we were listening to it. I know we were both fighting tears and trying not to sniffle into the microphone.
Yeah.
and so a lot of people don't know this, so we'll talk about this, right? Is it Mardo, right? Mardo is somebody that I grew up with. We were boys since I was 8 years old. Like we played soccer together. And then, you know, a lot of unhealthy behaviors together, fighting, you know what I'm saying, smoking weed, drinking, you know, we never did any heavy drugs together, you know what I'm saying? But we did a lot of, let's just say like teenage drugs together. We did a lot of stuff.
Beginner
together.
stuff.
Beginner stuff. So we did a lot of stuff together, but so, he's clean now, right? And so he's been rolling with us, and we're trying to get him involved. And so he went to the convention with us, right? And so we told him like, hey, bro, like, because he went to go take a nap. Like, just so you know, like, we're recording. I don't remember what time it was. Like, we're recording at this time.
It was like at early afternoon.
Yeah, it was like 3,
Yeah,
2, 3,
yeah.
something like that. And I was like, just so you know, we're recording. And so when like that's the powerful thing about the message.
Yeah.
Right? That's the powerful thing about hope, right? Is that like it reached somebody that nobody even knows that it reached, but he was laying in the bed
In the hotel room.
in the hotel room while me, you, and Josh are sitting there, and
Yeah.
he's just listening the whole time. And
he was crying. Yeah, dude.
you can hear him right crying on the bed because he listens to Josh's story, because like it's like just the spirit connects when we share our truth. And so that was a very impactful, big podcast.
Yeah.
Right? And he fucking did really good at promoting it and sending it to people. And,
Yeah.
and like it you know, it got probably, I think it's at more views than any other one that we have right now.
Yeah, it is.
Even the one that me and you did,
Yeah.
well, the first one we did, right? And
Yeah.
so like it reached more people, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's not about popularity, but I just feel like when it reaches people, it's like, man, that's fucking cool, bro.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was
that
a success.
Yeah,
if
it was a
reaches
success.
people.
And they're all success, right? They're like we'll talk about some of the reaction that we got, but like what other guests?
I think the other one we did at the convention up north.
Oh, Aubrey.
That one turned out really good too.
Yes.
And we were still pretty early,
Yes.
you know.
Yep.
We were still getting comfortable behind the microphone, and we took the equipment just on a whim,
Yeah.
you know, and it happened. And that particular convention for me, I had just about a week before that, I had done some pretty unhealthy behavior,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
I had to do some soul searching and some writing on that, and really look at my behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I go there, and then like I wake up that morning and my bank account's drained. And I had to deal with that and try not to let it affect me, you know. Somebody had got my credit card number, and she took a bunch of my money, you know.
Yeah.
I got it all back. Everything was fine. But like in the moment, I was completely powerless. I was 8 hours away from this person, but I was surrounded with my guys, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about money.
No.
You know, I needed anything, like
100%.
I had it, you know.
Yep.
So I had to let that go. And then later that night, we just so happened to bring Aubrey on, and it turned out really good. And it was a different perspective than I
Yes.
think either one of us has ever heard from an addict, you know.
Yeah.
Like we hear all the stories about, you know, growing up in the neighborhood and not having a dad around, or being in the foster care system, or being sexually abused, or being physically abused. Like we've never really heard that a story of an addict who had it seemingly like, you know, a good
dad,
upbringing and
good
still
mom. Yeah.
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 So I got a lot out of that
I did too.
that episode and that experience as a whole, you know.
Yeah, and
It
it's
was
funny
amazing.
because we took the equipment with the intention, like, we're gonna find somebody.
Right.
And then by Saturday night, we're like, you know what, fuck it, we're having fun. Like, we were dancing, remember that?
Yeah.
convention
a ball, dude.
Yeah, convention mic came out
Yeah.
for sure. You know what I'm saying? And it was like this small convention, not a small convention, right? But it wasn't like a SoCal convention that we're used to,
Yeah, yeah.
right? It was a pretty rural area,
Small
convention.
town feel.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
had
at the
a-
fairgrounds.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
small town feel. Yeah,
It was raining most of the time.
but everybody was
But
so
it was so
grateful,
dope, dude.
and
Yeah.
everybody was so grateful and excited, bro. You know what I'm saying? That there was just so much positive energy, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's actually where, if you look at, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but I know it's on Spotify, and I think that's the only one it's on. But that's where the speaker tape came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, of me sharing at that convention. Bro.
Yep.
Yeah, and so like that stuff was just.
We were testing out Spotify.
Yeah, we were testing
We were
out
like,
Spotify.
well, we don't have anything recorded, but I have your recording.
Yeah.
Let's throw that up there and see if it pops up on your Spotify app.
Yeah.
And that's why we just left it there, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's still there, yeah.
And it's cool because it's a good segue, fool. Because then we had a podcast there, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it was just like, I don't know. So that convention, or that one was cool. Aubrey was super down to earth. She carried a really good message. She was actually a speaker
Yeah.
at that convention too. I didn't get to hear her speak. Did you?
I heard her tape.
Oh, you heard her
I
tape.
actually, she sent it to me, and then I mastered it on Adobe Audition and sent
Oh.
it back to her.
Oh, nice.
Because when she got it, it was like the volumes were like super low.
Mm.
I don't know if it was the microphone or their equipment up there, but I fixed it and sent it back to her.
Oh.
So it was super
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
And I got I hope she don't get upset for me saying this, but my cousin Delisa, right, who not an alcoholic, not an addict, not any of that stuff, nothing like that, but she listens and she supports and she, you know, tells me how amazing it is what we're doing, and like she's like telling my other cousins like, you gotta listen to it,
Yeah.
like you gotta, you know what I'm saying, like, and for me that's amazing, bro. Like
Yeah.
I love that because, you know, me and my cousin Delisa we're not that we never really been that close. Like, you know what I'm saying? Me and her sister were like best cousins growing up, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But we weren't that close. But for her to like reach out to me and tell me that she's good. All right. For her to reach out and tell me that she's listening and Aubrey's was one that she brought up.
Yeah.
Right. And so she told me that it was an amazing story and that really stood out to me. And she also said she listened to Minds.
Yeah.
Right. And so like my family, they knew I was an addict. Right. But nobody knew the extent of my usage. And so like it was a little uncomfortable putting it out there like that sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because,
Yeah.
you know, it's different, bro, when it's in a meeting setting. Right. Because like the only people that are going to hear this message is the people in this room.
Yeah, they're just as fucked
Yeah,
up as
yeah.
you.
Even when you have a speaker tape, right?
Yeah.
The only people that are gonna listen to this are people when it lands into the right hands,
Right.
You
Somebody looking for it.
somebody looking for
Yeah.
it, right? And so like, but she reached out to me and you know, she felt a little bad because she didn't know the extent of my addiction, and she said she wished she would have helped me, you know, but you know, I let her know, like, because she told me one time she seen me at a bus stop. And she wanted to stop and see if I needed anything and try to help me. But she said she didn't. And she said she always felt bad for that. And I told her, look, there's nothing you could have did to help me.
Yep.
Like if, and this is just me being real, right? Where I was at, right? This is before I understood the spiritual principle of tolerance, right?
Yeah.
Where I was at, like if you weren't like 100% vibing with me, then you were fake and I didn't want nothing to do with you. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I'm not going to fake the funk and act like I care and act like I give a shit about anything that you have to say. So if she would have approached me, I would have been rude. I would have,
Or probably manipulated the situation to get what you needed.
yeah, for
You
sure.
know, either way.
I know you should have pulled over so I can,
Yeah, so I can ask you for $20. Yeah. You know?
No, but you know, I told her like I love you, like, and that like there's nothing that anybody like there's nothing that nobody could have did for me back then. That's just the reality, right? Like I had to go through what I had to go through, just like you had to go through what you had to go through, right? In order for us to get to where we were, right? But I think it's super cool when I have family members that support me, support us, and they hear a story. Like my sisters complimented on yours,
Yeah.
right? My sisters had a lot to say about yours. My sisters know more about who I was, so I think my story wasn't that shocking to them, you know?
They're like, he's lying.
He was way more fucked up than that. But yeah, my sister Sarah, talked about how like how your story was very powerful, bro. You know what I'm saying, about how like you overdosing so many times that you're lucky to be alive. And I believe she said something along the lines too, like, you know, I'm grateful that he's here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, but that's the hope, right? Is that like we get to fucking be here?
Yeah.
You know,
We shouldn't be.
No, we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Well,
If we kept living like
if
we
we
were
kept living like the
wouldn't
way
be
we
here.
lived, you know, I think everybody has their own point of view. For me,
Right.
I'm like, when people say I don't deserve the life I have, you know, for me, man, like if God didn't feel I deserved it, I wouldn't have it, bro.
Yeah.
You know, but like I shared at the meeting, and I shared this at a meeting prior to that too. But like the miracle already happened.
Yeah.
We landed in recovery.
Yeah.
Right? That's the miracle, right? Now it's up to us whether we're going to keep running off that miracle or not, but the miracle happens the moment that we get introduced to any kind of recovery fellowship. It doesn't matter, like 12 steps, you know, faith-based, SMART, refuge, like any of these other outside recovery services. They provide, you know, services for addicts, alcoholics, you know, and everything in between, right? If you got clean, that's a miracle,
Yeah.
right?
Even for a day.
Even for a day.
Yeah.
I discovered, bro, that it's a lot. And this is gonna sound weird, maybe for like a newcomer, because I know when people used to say that, I used to say, you're fucking crazy.
That's true.
But like, it's
Yeah.
easier for me to stay clean than it is for me to get clean,
Yeah.
right? Like getting clean, like putting it down, and like finally surrendering it, bro, was like the hardest thing I've ever had to do. You know what I'm saying? And I know that because I tried so many times, you know? So like the miracle happened when I put it down for the final time and said, okay, something has to change here, right? And then after that, it's not about luck. It's not about like, it's not about anything but what am I willing to do about my problem?
You know,
Period.
you know what's crazy? I just thought of this right now. It's like when I think about my using and how I used, I fought for the next one as if it was like keeping me alive, like I was fighting for my life, and it was killing me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because you feel like,
Like you need it, like it's gonna keep you alive, like you'll die without it, and it's literally killing you.
yeah. And it's so powerful, right? You always say, bro, the only thing stronger than a mother's love, bro, is the disease of addiction, bro. And that resonates with me,
Yeah.
right? Because the only thing more powerful than love for my children is addiction, bro, right? But that's if I let it run my life,
Yeah.
right? I'm powerless once I get one in me. But until then, like I have power, bro. There's something I could do. Right. And I think that's what we all need to get to. We can't use that excuse like I'm powerless. Yeah, when I'm loaded, I am.
Yeah.
When I have one in me, I am. Right. And you said something, bro, recently that really resonated to me, right? Because like I hear people say, I'm one bad decision away from another run. Right. But that's not my truth. That's not your truth either.
Yeah.
Right. Because you said we have an insurance policy against the disease of addiction.
Yeah.
Right. And
Full
that's-
coverage.
Full coverage.
Yeah.
If
you choose.
you keep paying the premium.
Yeah.
Right. And if you keep following the rules of that insurance policy.
Yeah.
Right. If you keep doing everything you're supposed to do for that insurance policy, then that insurance policy is in place. Right. Because there's a lot of bad decisions I have to make for me to be backed into a corner that I can't get out of clean.
Yeah.
Right, like withdrawing from the program, stop working with the newcomer, stop going to meetings, stop praying to God. Like all these bad decisions they have to happen in order for me to get loaded, right? And that's the truth, bro. Right?
And through practicing those things, the minute you back away off of one of those things, you feel it.
100%.
It's like a big red flag.
Yep.
You're like, whoa, I need to get this back in check.
Yeah.
And it's only through practice.
Yep.
It's only through like doing it over and over and
Consistency.
over and over again to where when you don't do it, you know something's wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's all about consistency.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do next, bro? Like, can't get it twisted, thinking we got something going for ourselves, right? That doesn't mean like for me, like I'm not at a meeting every night. I'm not even at a meeting. I mean, sometimes 3 nights a week. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes maybe I'll hit like a double meeting on Saturday, one on Sunday, you know, one on Friday maybe, you know what I'm saying? But there still has to be some kind of other substance that is replaced with meetings if I'm not able to go to 1,000 meetings in 1,000 days anymore, like I did in early recovery. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to pull back from certain aspects because I have a job, right? I got a girl, I got kids, I got, you know, bills. And you know what, dude? I got a bed, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
With a roof over it.
I got a bed with a roof over it and a TV that's on the wall. Thank you, Mike, by the way. You know what I'm saying? For putting up my TV. And a TV on the wall.
Yeah.
Sometimes, bro, like, I need that, bro. I need to just lay in bed and watch TV, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I work for it, bro. I work my ass off to fucking pay the bills. I might as well enjoy them, right? Yeah. But I don't ever want to, like, as addicts, we can't get to a place where we feel like we got something and we just could, like, step away from everything. You know what I'm saying? I know some people, they rarely go to meetings, but they got sponsees and they're working steps. And that, if that's their program, that's their program. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to judge about what's keeping you clean and what's keeping me clean and what's keeping them clean? Everybody's going to have to find it. It's like that thing, right? So, like, the recipe, right, is the same for us anyways, right? In the 12-step fellowship, right? The recipe's the same, but some people like more pepper. Some people like extra salt, right? Some people like theirs spicy. Some people want potatoes. Some people don't want potatoes. Some people want, you know what I'm saying? So like being able to figure out what recipe, and I think the longer you stay clean, the different your recipe becomes. It's the same ingredients, but you might want a little bit of meat to it, or you might, you know what I'm saying? So like you might do more step work than you do meetings, or you might do more spiritual practices instead of step work, or you might, you know what I'm saying? Like all these different things. I mean, people find their way around here, you know what I'm saying? But it's always about doing something. So what other guests? Where are we at on time?
46.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
I wanted to talk about one thing that you mentioned already. You know, like I've had people that I don't even know, and they're like, "Damn, that last episode was fire," you know, and like we're just here facilitating it, you know. And we ask these people to come on that have inspired us and give us hope, 100%. Right? And that keeps me going some weeks, dude. Because on Friday after work, I don't always want to edit an episode and post it and do everything that entails. Sundays, I don't always want to come here, but like we do it, and afterwards, I'm grateful every time. You know, there's not been one time where I'm like, that still sucked. You know, it was always good afterwards, and it feeds my spirit. You know, personally, I know it does yours too, dude. Like, so let's talk about the future, man. You know, we've put all this audio equipment together. We're lucky enough to have this space to do this every week. We have a lot of people that are willing to come on and share their story. We've got a list of more that are coming, you know, we're excited about. And but we want to get it kind of off the audio only platform, right? Yes. Like I take in any and all feedback. Anytime somebody says they listen, I'm like, what do you think? Yeah. What do you think we could change? What would you like to see? You know what I mean? Because that's really important to me, you know? And one thing that I've heard multiple times is like, I wish I could watch it, you know? Yeah. That entails a lot of work, a lot of editing. And it's going to require a lot of learning on our part, you know? Because we're not professionals at this. Luckily, we have a professional we can get advice from and get some guidance from. But like, that's one thing that we both agree that we want to do. There's a lot of moving parts to that, you know? We've got to have some kind of set, you know what I mean? Have a backdrop. We've already looked into getting that.
We're going to get that soon.
Yeah. The the cameras.
Yep.
You know, cameras are expensive. We've already got people that are like, "Hey, what do you need? Like, I'll help you get it. Pay me back." You know.
Yeah.
And
we just want to make sure we're in the right position. For that one.
That we have the time for it.
Yeah.
That we have the space for it.
Yeah.
The money for it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not making any money off of this. So, but those that's a goal I think that we've
Yeah.
established that we want to do by the end of this year.
Yeah.
Is get on video so people can see. You know, there's some people that are willing to come on but won't be on camera, so we're gonna get them on before
Yeah.
that happens. There's some people that we've had on that want to be on camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're gonna bring them all back. You know,
And
I was
there's-
just talking yesterday to Josh.
Yeah.
I said we're getting cameras and we'd love for you to come back on.
Yeah.
You know, and
For sure.
super excited about that. Like I said, it is a lot of work, but we're ready for it. I think we've got this kind of
In the back.
in the bag
In a
somewhat.
sense, yeah.
We've got our system worked out. We've got our, you know, I'm comfortable with all of the software and everything, and we've got it kind of dialed in. So that's something that I want to bring on. Our idea with bringing on somebody who's still loaded, you know, I think that's a really good idea. And you know, you working in treatment and me have gone to treatment many times, and you know, you stick around recovery long enough, and you'll know people that work in treatment centers. You know,
Yeah.
so we want to bring on a guest that we feel that needs the help and offer it to them. You know, and in exchange for a bed at the treatment center, you know, we'll advertise for them, and
Yeah.
and we don't want any money or anything like
No,
that.
just a bed.
Just a bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And who's to say like that dude or that chick might not even want it?
Right.
It might say no, but you know, that's something to be found out. But what about you? What do you want to see in the future?
Cameras.
Cameras.
For sure. Because not only are there people that want to be on camera, but I feel like there's some people that we're waiting for to have camera.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
I'm not gonna name drop anybody, but there's a few people that luckily I've been able to run into. You know, from like a skateboarder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To and he already told me he's willing to come on.
Yeah.
You know. To, you know, businessman, you know what I'm saying? I have a local artist who wrote the song for our podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, me and him, we grew up together.
We didn't mention that.
Oh, that's right. We
didn't mention that.
Yes.
So go ahead.
So Verse One, right? He's a local rapper from San Bernardino. I grew up with him. All through elementary, through middle school, through high school. We obviously lost touch for a while, but that's just because we became adults and we started doing our own thing. He's told me that he struggled with addiction. Like, we haven't got too much into detail, but I remember when me and you we were looking for
bumpers.
for a buffer, right? Like something that could start our podcast and something that could end our podcast, right?
Yeah.
And so me and Mike, we both love rap, right? I'm a hip hop head. I mean, maybe not in the sense of a normal hip hop head, but I love rap music, bro. Like, I wish I could be. I shared it on the first podcast. I wish I could be that guy. Like, I love all music, but that's just not me. You know what I'm saying? I listen to a little bit of country. I listen to Linkin Park, and then everything else is hip hop, right? And so, Verse, man, he's super talented, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's a very well-versed artist who I feel is going to blow up, who I feel is going to get a name out there, and he's been doing shows, he's been doing conventions, hip hop conventions, music videos, right? He has a lot of talented people on his team or around him, right? The other person that was on there was Mikey Mike, right? Yeah. So Mikey Mike is he does a lot of videos, you know what I'm saying? So I'm actually you can follow Verse on _ Verse VERSE _01. So that is Verse's. He's the one that I hit him up. So I was like, hey, bro, let me see.
We'll link it in the description.
Okay. Yeah. And so I hit him up and I was like, hey, bro, we got this podcast. I sent him. So kind of back to the video, right? So we have some videos, but they're horrible. And we didn't want to, we were still figuring out how to just, how to navigate through the sound. So we weren't prepared to put the sound to the video, right?
Yeah.
But like I sent him a clip of the video for him to understand, and he was like, bro, like I really like what you guys are doing. Like, I appreciate it. And so he's like, look, I'm gonna make you guys a song, right? And so I asked him, I was like, how much? Like, you know, I don't know what he charges for a verse. I don't know any of that. You know what I'm saying? I just told him, like, all we need is like a hook that we could like play at the beginning and play at the end. And then he wrote this whole song for us. I asked him how much, and he was like, nothing, right? Like, it's absolutely free from us to you, right? And he put on his boy Mikey Mike, which is Mikey MIC 628 on Instagram. You guys can follow him too if you guys need like music videos done, anything like that. He'll take care of you guys. But like, it was just such a cool song, bro. And I couldn't stop listening to it for the first week that we got it, bro.
That's up on the Spotify too.
That's on Spotify and that's
YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to go check that out, you guys should. It's a really good song, and I think that he even the skit at the end that he did,
that was dope.
Right? It was like perfectly fit. So he's one person that we definitely want to get on the podcast, you know, and get his story, and we want him to be on camera, like, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we just think like it's just important for us to start getting camera, right? Because I know even when it comes to hip hop, right? If I hear somebody's like a freestyle, maybe not a song, but a freestyle, if I hear somebody just freestyling, like, I need a video to that, right? And the way they move, the way they like, it all plays into the media and the entertainment side of music.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why they're so popular. So I think they're fucking getting a music, like, or not, I was going to say music video, but getting video to what we do, I think is going to be very impactful. But
you know what I do when I watch freestyles? I watch their eyes to see if they're really freestyling or if they wrote it before.
yeah, see?
Yeah.
So like,
You can tell if someone's freestyling, they're like searching for the words.
So even think about this, right? For example, like Josh's podcast, right?
Yeah.
Now, he wasn't the only ones that we cried to. We cried to his. There's been a few.
Yeah.
I cried in mine.
Yeah.
You cried in yours. You know. So like, there's these moments, these real like emotional moments, right? That if we could get a visual to that, right? People, like, I've heard people say like I rather feel your share than hear your share.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that component of the video is going to be amazing for that, bro.
It'll be felt.
It would be felt, bro.
For sure.
It would be felt on a deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, Josh's would have been a little bit weird with Marto in the background later. But so thank you, Verse. Shout out. Thank you, Mikey Mike, man. We appreciate you guys for making that song. It was a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And this is just all like components of like people caring.
Yeah.
And seeing our vision.
Yeah.
Right? Like Lacey, right? Your mom, Bobby, right? Verse, right? Mikey, Eric.
Yeah.
Right? Like
and everybody that listens.
Everybody that listens.
Yeah.
Bro, right?
That keeps me going so much, man. One little comment or pulling me aside and saying, hey, I really like that episode. It really resonated with me. Like, that keeps me going, dude.
We just got that yesterday.
Yeah.
We were at a little event, right? And there's a few people, but I know like one of my girl's friend, she was like, hey, like, you guys don't want to do the podcast? Like, we listen, you know, every week. We're excited, and we're going to get them on too. You know what I'm saying? Both of them. You know what I'm saying? Gasper's been a big part of that, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, we love it. Like,
He rocks the hat.
yeah, he rocks the hat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like just all these people, bro, that just, and so like when we went to the convention, the Palm Desert convention, right?
Yeah.
Where we recorded Josh's recording, right? And so we're just gonna say her name. I'm sure she won't mind a shout out, but Eva.
Yeah.
Right?
That was amazing.
Yeah, bro. Like, she came up and like had a really emotional response to the podcast, right? And it was like you know, the gist of it was like she didn't realize how many people struggle with relapse.
Yeah.
Right? And this is something she has over a year.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe coming up on 2. I don't know exactly. We'll find out for sure when we get her on the podcast. But she has time, so it's not like she's like the newest newcomer, right? But she has over a year for sure. And for her for our podcast to be impactful to her was a big deal for me too, because she has recovery, right? And she was one of the people that were clean when the first attempt that I tried to get clean, and she was like a pillar in that meeting space, in that recovery community at that time, right? And so like for her to come up to us and tell us like how much that impacted us, it meant a lot, bro. I mean, we were all emotional, you know what I'm saying? But I just felt like I ran a group the other day, and one of the slides was like the biggest aspiration of the human is to help another human.
Yeah.
Right. And when we help people, it's like, man, that's a powerful moment. You know what I'm saying? So that was a really cool reaction, probably the best reaction we got.
Yeah, for
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? Yeah. And so then we started signing autographs, and we went and put on some leather pants, and you know what I'm saying? No. But my point is that like it just felt really cool to get reactions like that, right?
Yeah,
Eric Savage, Eric, Eva, Josh approached us about the podcast too and said that it was great, and you know what I'm saying? And so like just all these people, my cousin Lisa, and there's many more that I'm sure we're gonna forget. Like we're not gonna be able to remember everybody that had talked to us, and we're not gonna remember every episode. I mean, we're already down 25 episodes prior to this, bro. So there's a lot of people that we already interviewed. I mean, a half a year.
Yeah.
That's a really
every
big deal.
week for half a year.
Every year, bro, for half a year.
And that's 2 days a week, really.
I know.
I know.
And
then countless conversations, countless ideas bouncing back and forth. And we got a lot more, that are aside from this podcast. And we'll talk about it on the podcast at a later time. But, so just to recap, Mom, thank you.
Yep.
Lacey, thank you for all your guidance and help. My mom's our number one fan. Mm-hmm. She runs the fan club, she says. That's what she tells me. She's the president of Messages Hope podcast fan club.
And I just want to say, Lacey and Bobby, thank you both. Like, you guys have been absolutely amazing. You guys have made me feel comfortable. You guys have made me feel welcome. You guys have made me feel loved. And it's been really amazing getting to know your family, stuff like that.
Yeah. Verse 1 and Mikey Mike, thank you for the song, brother.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to having you guys on. Eric, thank you for the hats and the microphone. It means a lot to us, dude. And thank you to everyone who listens and everyone that supports and sends it to people that might need to hear this, man, because it's a big deal to us. And we really enjoy doing it. And just to hear the response really keeps us going. So I think that's about it, Adam. You got anything else?
No, that's all I could think of. And, thank everybody, really. We didn't get a chance to talk about all you guys, all of our guests that have come on, right? But, like, we want to thank all you guys, Mario, Yoli, Sergio, Frankie, other Frankie. Who else, bro? Juan, Caesar, Wendy, just all you guys. Yeah. All you guys, it's selfless service. Yeah. Right? They're coming on their day off or, before work, whatever their get down is for that day, and they're coming on to, like, literally give a message of hope, right? With nothing, there's no exchange. We're not giving them $20. We're not telling them we're going to wash a car. We're not going to, babysit. We
can't even give them a free hat yet.
No,
we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, free hat and a T-shirt maybe one day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and but just like Carlos his just posted, right? But like the people that come on here, they're not coming on here to again not get famous, not get some kind of credibility, not to do anything. They know the importance of hearing somebody else's story, so they come on here because they believe in us and because they want to give a message of hope. So I think it's really been amazing. So I just want to thank all of our guests, past, present, and future guests, everybody who supports us. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing, and just keep supporting us, man. Keep furthering this message and furthering this podcast.
All right, thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
How does it feel to be able to give hope to others who are still struggling now?
It's such an honor to be able to hear other people's experiences of life, to see how when faced with the very thing that was sent to destroy you, kill you, and take you out forever didn't, but rather you have been given a second chance to give hope and be a light for those who are still in the dark. So don't be afraid to share your message to the world. You never know whose life you might be saving.